On today's episode of the Driven Mad podcast, we discuss the exciting Austrian Grand Prix and the chaos that stemmed from the countless track issues. We have a discussion about the penalties given at the changes coming from the Austrian Grand Prix, the upgrades from last weekend and what to expect next weekend, and, of course, what to expect from the British Grand Prix as a whole, our expectations and our predictions. Oh, it's going to be an exciting episode coming up right now. Hello and welcome to the Driven Mad podcast in proud partnership with Sports Illustrated. My name is Alex. To my left is Lydia Me.
And if you like what we're saying, please do give us a follow on social media. So you are at AlexDoesF1. I am at Lydia Me F1. It's a mouthful. And while you're there, give F1F all a follow for all the latest updates.
Yeah, and before we jump in, make sure you subscribe on your favourite podcast provider. We will be there, I promise. I'm working on it. We've had a few technical difficulties, but we will be there. So everything from Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, everything. YouTube. We're on YouTube. Subscribe. Click that notification bell. Like and comment and subscribe. Oh, the Austrian Grand Prix. That was an exciting one, wasn't it?
I feel as though I potentially need
a coffee.
A week-long spa retreat. Because I'm still recovering. I don't know about you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it was basically, the weekend started with lap time deleted. What the hell is
That's what
going on?
It ended with as well.
What is going on with qualifying and then the sprint shootout?
Oh, yeah.
And then it was just like penalty.
Like 10 hours
race
after
finish, podium, celebration, penalty. I need to lie down.
You know what? I've never been so excited about a sprint weekend. But quickly, before we get into the conversation,
right.
out of 10.
Oh, I usually think about this beforehand, but
You've had too much work to do. Too many penalties to talk about.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a good 8.5.
8.5. I was going to give it like 7, 8, so I'm going to 7.5 if we're going to, one decimal place. Yeah, it was really good, actually. It was one of the best weekend. I think it actually was the best weekend so far.
Yeah.
We were given an exciting qualifying and sprint shootout, whatever they're calling it now. F1, can you just stop with the weird branding? It's just stupid. Don't call it a shootout. Shootout!
I came here for a shootout.
All I can see is
that.
Tom Hardy
I know.
when I hear that sprint shootout. I'm not very good at it, but you get the picture.
Terrible. Yeah.
It was exciting though, wasn't it?
It was so good. And although obviously I was getting a bit frustrated when I was doing all my headlines because it's like, oh, Max Verstappen goes fastest in FP1 and Max Verstappen takes pole. Blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't yes, he won again.
It doesn't quite reflect what happened in that event.
He's extended his lead on the championship. So have Red Bull. We get it. But it was such a good weekend. We had, again, Nico Hülkenberg did great. I know I'm becoming almost slightly biased because I put him in my fantasy league every weekend. But
it was great to see him up there.
It was so good. Lando Norris did really well. Friday we had qualifying and obviously we had Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. So everyone was just like, a Ferrari back? Oh my God.
Max Verstappen lost his record. Well, his record came to an end of number of laps led because of Charles Leclerc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had some really good battles with Lewis and Lando.
Oh, they were great.
And just, there's so many. It was so
Perez, it was a really, really exciting race. And that's the thing. We always say, if you're watching the F1, yes, we have these eras of complete and utter dominance. And when we've got that, especially now with Max Verstappen, who is so dominant, look at 2 to 20. That's where the excitement will happen. And we had so much excitement.
It was so good. And with all the penalties and track limits, although it didn't happen, Max Verstappen didn't get one, a penalty that is, but there was still that bit of jeopardy where it's like, well, he could actually get a penalty, seeing everybody's getting a penalty.
Yeah.
So that would then change everything.
Yeah.
It didn't, but it could have.
Let's lead into the first conversation in that case and talk about these penalties.
Yeah.
So track limits were a massive problem. And I was saying to Lydia before this, because I've been on F123, and I was doing some
Here we
laps, and I
go
was like,
again.
you know what? This track is really, really difficult because the track limits. And I was like, you know what, Lyd? These teams, these drivers, they're going to have an issue here because those track limits, with the size of the car, you cannot see them. The Austrian Grand Prix turned out to be exactly that. It was very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And how many laps were deleted? 100 odd? 120?
Yeah, over 100, I think.
Crazy.
It was
Crazy.
mayhem. And
Yeah.
do you know who did the worst from it? Well, actually, I say worse. He did break a record. So take that as you will.
Put that on my CV.
But Esteban Ocon, so during the race, he received a 5-second penalty for an unsafe release in the pit lane. Fine, fair enough. Then afterwards, he got an extra 30 seconds worth of penalty, and he broke his own record that he set in Bahrain for the most amount of penalties received in one race.
I
So
was going through the FIA release, their document,
Yeah.
and it was like Esteban Ocon. I was like, stop! He's already
know.
dead.
Oh!
That was
But-
a metaphor of what happened to Esteban Ocon.
What was strange in that document as well, you had like Carlos Sainz, I think he had 10 seconds. And then, for example, Yuki Tsunoda 5. Why didn't they just put Esteban Ocon 30 seconds? They almost made it worse because it was like Ocon.
Oh yeah, he did not have a good
Yeah.
weekend. But Alpine made the most of it with their social media coverage.
They did.
Bit of photoshopping,
Yeah.
Which is always appreciated. So thank you, Alpine.
Did you see him in his post-race interview as well before all
No,
of this
I actually
happened?
didn't. I was focusing on like Hamilton and Lando. Go on.
So although he'd got his penalty for the unsafe release, at that point he didn't have any penalties for his track limits. And he was like, oh, well, I didn't get one, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like,
no.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, no, Lando did pretty well. Lando didn't get any, which I was actually quite surprised at, especially with Lewis Hamilton going, oh, Lando's gone off. And Perez has gone off. There was a
Yeah.
lot of complaining from Hamilton. And I get it, like when you're in the middle of the race, adrenaline's going crazy, you feel like you're already on the back foot because the car wasn't very good. Mercedes is a very rear limited car, and turns 1 and 3 of that track are rear limited corners. So he was obviously like in panic mode, and you could hear it in his voice.
Yeah, it was getting a bit frosty, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And Toto Wolff had to, everyone surely heard this. Toto Wolff literally came on and was like, look, I know the car's crap, just drive it.
Oh.
And like Toto Wolff came out afterwards and was like, yeah, like that's just how we talk to each other. Like he was like, you should hear our phone calls.
Yeah,
And I
it's a
completely
high
get it.
adrenaline moment as well,
Exactly,
isn't it?
yeah.
For everyone.
And people are saying, including me, like, I thought I saw Perez go off quite a few times. They have sensors, they have video and all the right angles. There's no conspiracy theory in the behind the FIA and F1. They're not favouring Red Bull. The cars are just really good and the drivers are really good. So, they had more manoeuvrability, they had more handling. So, they did stay within track limits, although I'm sure Perez did get a black and white flag. Is that right? I'm
yeah,
pretty
he
sure
was
did.
close to getting a penalty, but he just didn't.
And the same with Lando. But they just scratched their way through it.
That was something that was picked up on with the commentary that was really good with Lando Norris's race engineer, because he was, because I think Norris was getting a bit exasperated. He kept, at the very beginning, he was the one saying, Lewis is going off, he's off again, and that almost spurred it on from an outsider's point of view anyway. So his race engineer said, look, people are getting penalties. You cannot push it and go out of the limits. And then he didn't get a penalty.
He said it multiple times throughout the race as well.
Yeah.
I think he told Lando just to assure him of, please stay within the lines.
Yeah.
He said it 3 times, and he was completely right because Lando ended up P4.
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Well, he was P5, but he lost it because Carlos.
of the penalties. Yeah, exactly. So great job, McLaren. And we'll get on to in a minute the upgrades that allowed Lando to do this, as well as his precision driving. Lando is a very I think he's a very underrated driver, personally. He has got a lot of talent, which is why McLaren wants to hold on to him. But I think there are a number of changes that stemmed from this crazy, crazy chaos. And I mean, before we get into that, let's first talk about the FIA. Should they be allowed to change the results of the race afterwards? After it's ended?
Oh, here we go. I think that in that situation, yes. Because...
Okay.
But there would need to be a time limit on it. But if you think about it, I don't know how many people they had working just on looking at track limits.
That's
but
the issue.
They had something like 1,200 potential infringements to look at. To do that whilst the race is still ongoing, that's difficult.
It's too much.
But in the same breath, I don't think that something needs to change with the track, surely. Because this was an issue last year. So why have the track in a way that this is going to keep being an issue and make their lives difficult? It also is hard for the viewer, because you are watching it, you're really enjoying it, you're celebrating with the drivers when they have the podium, and then this weekend no one lost their podium finish, but they could have. So I said they could, but I'm now mixed.
No, I mean, I do agree with you. I think the issue is that the limit, the head of this issue comes down to the fact that it's humans doing it.
Yeah.
It's not a computer that just goes tick, cross. It's not that kind of thing. And because of that, you just can't rely on humans.
Yeah.
We're not perfect people. We're not perfect. And then, as well as, there's user error, there's also the time it takes.
Yeah.
So
I do think, which is something that I saw a lot of people talking about online, is that, okay, if you don't have time to do it during the race, at least say it's going to be investigated afterwards.
Yes. Why did it take Aston Martin to come forward?
Yeah, because if it often happens where it will say that this and that will be investigated after the race, you then know that's going to happen. You wait. Yeah. Whereas this was maybe an hour or so afterwards.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, okay, that's all going to change. And then there was another 2 hours or something where everyone was waiting to see what the penalties were. Then again, you had to wait to see how that changed the result of the race.
Yeah.
So if they just said there's a lot of people going off the track potentially, so we will investigate this afterwards, I think they wouldn't have had such a big backlash.
Yeah, and I also think, we are nerds about F1, so we are constantly watching. What about the casual viewer who wants to keep up with who's winning and where people are coming, but will watch the race and then turn off and do other things and then only turn it on when another race happens?
Yeah.
They have no idea what's going on. And yes, I'm sure it will be explained next week at the British Grand Prix, by whoever they're watching, Sky, ESPN, whatever. But, to then suddenly kind of be dropped into this whole new world of where people are, you think, why wasn't that done during the race?
Yeah.
And the other issue that stems from it that we discussed at the time was strategy.
Yeah.
When a team knows they've got however many seconds of penalty, they change their strategy. They will change tires. They will change when that driver's coming into pit, and just dishing out these strategies afterwards. Sorry, these penalties afterwards. It seems like amateur hour at the FIA.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good at all. And yes, these penalties are perfectly yes, I'm all for these penalties being given out. There was no penalty that I thought, oh, that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Because
it is completely the driver's responsibility to stay within the track limits. But the fact that they didn't know and these drivers now have nothing and teams have nothing they can do about it, I think that is crazy.
Yeah.
And the fact that the FIA haven't got systems in place for this not to happen.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's ask ChatGPT, FIA. If something, seriously though, can AI not be doing this? AI does everything else. Why is there not something that's looking at this, which is automated and can give you an answer straight away? It's a white line. Why can a camera not be looking at it and just be programmed when the black blob, the tyre, goes this side of it, it's a penalty. When it goes this side of it, it's not a penalty. I don't know why it's why it's all down to race control and not just a computer these days. But I was thinking about this morning.
Here we go.
I was in the shower and
Too much information already, but okay.
I was cleaning my armpits.
Right.
I was like, you know what?
Nice.
Grass.
Grass.
No. Let me explain myself. These cars, like I just said, are massive, massive things. They are bigger than they've ever been. And
I'm just here like, where is this going? But I'm enjoying it. Yeah,
Nice.
carry on.
These white lines that the drivers are crossing, they can barely see them. So they don't know for sure that they've crossed them. There is no physical feedback from the car, except for a massive bloody sausage curb. Which, by the way, remove all sausage curbs from the world.
Yeah.
Dangerous things, get rid of them. But why is there not gravel? Why is there not grass? Something that will, for one, really deter drivers from going over it, because as soon as you go onto something like that, there's a loss of traction, and you've then got to kind of remove all the crap from your tires that's got stuck. But there needs to be some sort of physical feedback, something that they can feel, and they go, oh, yeah, I went over the gravel there. 100% I went over the gravel. I will change my line. Because right now, these cars are crazy anyway. I'm not a fan of this current regulation because the cars are just too big, too heavy, blah, blah, blah. We've heard it all before. But the fact that there is no visibility from the cockpit, and people are like, oh, they're the best drivers in the world. They should be able to know when they go over a white line. You try it.
Well, also,
It's mad.
just take it from Fernando Alonso's starting position.
Exactly.
But if they can't see where their tyres are to get in the grid box.
If anyone can park a car, it's Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, I imagine he's great at parallel parking.
Although actually, when we were in Miami and we saw some reverse parking
from
the drivers,
actually.
They were not so good. Who was it? Sainz or Leclerc who dinged the other car?
Alex?
Was it Sainz? Sorry, I'm going to drop you in it, guys. I think it was Sainz.
It was one of the Ferrari drivers. I can't remember which. I genuinely can't. But they
I think it was Sainz.
Opened the door and dinged the other one's car, and I was
gorgeous,
like,
two gorgeous Ferrari Portofinos.
oh, lovely.
Beautiful, beautiful cars. Parked next to each other in their Ferrari bays, of course, because branding. And we were looking down over these cars going, oh, look, I think it's Carlos Sainz driving. And then we thought, oh, they're parked quite close together on the driver's side. Ding! Oh, no! He's dinged the car. I mean, obviously, they're rentals. They're just given to them by Ferrari. Yeah. But still, guys, you're drivers. You're some of the best drivers in the world. Maybe the visibility is not very good. Anyway, moving on. A small tangent. But yeah, it was a crazy, crazy race. And people, rightly so, are going crazy over the fact that there are all these penalties afterwards.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are changes coming. The FIA has said to the track, they were like, look, this is crazy.
Yeah, you need to do something.
Yeah, so they are thinking of putting gravel or grass down, aren't they? I believe that is the possibility right now, which I think is a great idea.
Did you call them after your shower? I was like, guys, look, this is what we need to do.
Yeah, I've had a shower dream. all your best ideas are stream. All your best ideas come in the shower or just before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to keep a notepad next to the bed because I come up with all the best content ideas, and I wake up, I'm like, F1?
And then you can't remember, and it's the most frustrating thing. Yeah, I know. Anyway.
Yeah. Although there was one idea, which we will be revealing soon.
Your idea, or?
I mean, I've had it. I haven't discussed it with management, but we are
your
likely
idea.
going to be doing it because it's a great idea. We have a lot to tease in the next couple of months. Can't tell you much about it now because we're still sorting things out.
The mystery.
But when you see this news coming out, just remember, Alex was in bed when he thought of that.
Oh.
And no, don't think about it like that. Just think, it was one of those. I backed myself into a corner. Don't think that. Just think, that was a dream idea. Shall we move on?
So, upgrades.
There have been plenty of upgrades.
Tell me about these upgrades, please.
Back to Ferrari. Ferrari had some really huge upgrades. They, we saw the results of these upgrades. Sainz put up a great battle with Perez.
Can we just quickly talk about Sainz's qualifying lap?
What a legend.
What a beauty.
Yeah, he had one chance. Because
Yeah.
what was the issue with the car?
Do you know what? So much has happened this weekend that my head is like,
I can't
penalty. What was going on?
Was it a hydraulics issue?
No, wasn't that George?
Oh, that's
George
right.
Russell.
I can't remember. But there was
he went out to start qualifying. He had an issue, had to go back to the garage. They were working on it, and everyone was just thinking they are not going to be getting that Ferrari back out.
Yeah.
They got out with minimal time left.
New tyres, though.
New tyres. But I mean, give him something.
No, I mean,
He had-
I can do it. I mean, amazing.
I think he had
so talented.
What did he have? One warm up,
One warm up, and one attempt.
one
at a
attempt,
flying lap.
and then he went provisional pole. It
Insane.
was
Insane.
almost iconic.
Yeah. Oh,
It was amazing.
Sainz is great. Sainz was obviously really enjoying that track.
Yeah,
It is a great track, and the Ferraris are very well suited to front limited tracks.
yeah,
Which that is, and they had upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
So they, I mean, first of all, Leclerc finished P2. Hell yes. Go on, Leclerc. I've been waiting for this moment because
he's coming back, baby.
Leclerc deserves some good results. I mean, Verstappen drove like a monster, and he did deserve his P1.
Oh yeah,
Truly.
he was great.
But yeah, Sainz P6. He would have been P4 if it wasn't for penalties. But two huge upgrades. The front wing.
Yep.
They apparently changed their kind of concept around the front wing. The big change on the front wing was the M plates. The little the kind of, what do you call it on the side? I can't remember what it's called. But that little flowy bit, they changed the shape of. And then to match the front wing changes, they then changed the underfloor. And what a change it had on the car. What an effect it had. It was almost like the Ferrari drivers had this new wave of confidence.
Yeah, it's like a new lease of life.
Yeah, which obviously helped. Who else had a new lease of life?
Lando
Norris.
I hope that's what you were going to say.
It is.
Yeah.
He was so McLaren brought upgrades just for Lando. I mean, Piastri did really well in the sprint.
Yeah.
Not so well in the actual Grand Prix.
Yeah.
But he didn't have, like we just said, he didn't have the upgrades that Lando had. But Lando, he was on it. He was really on it. His McLaren was absolutely flying.
Yeah.
He came P4 after the penalties were applied. And they had a huge, like the biggest upgrade we've seen this year, I think, this season.
Yeah.
He had engine cover, louvres, floor, a load of other stuff, but like a load of bodywork. And it was a complete refresh.
Yeah, because they've said as well that obviously they're spreading the upgrades out over a few races, but I think the majority for Lando anyway came at Austria. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
There wasn't much else they could touch on that car.
And they have said that they're changing pretty much every aerodynamic part.
Yeah. Wasn't it amazing though to see a McLaren up there?
Oh, it was so nice.
Like, we've been waiting for this for a long time with McLaren. They had their heyday.
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton kind of ended that, and then with the Papaya McLarens, we just haven't seen anything in so long. Not really a hint of success or performance in any way. You know how much of a fan I am of that Papaya. But Lando in that McLaren over the weekend, I could not be happier for him. And he just came out beaming, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, it was so good.
There was also a bit after the race where, because Lewis knew that that Lando had said something about his track limits. And there was a bit where they were together in the TV pen.
Yeah.
Doing interviews, and Lando had to kind of awkwardly look over to him, like, "I'm sorry, it's just a race." And Lewis was like, "No problem at all." Like Lewis,
well, he knows how it works.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people, I watch a lot of Twitter, and there's a lot of people going, "Oh, it's just Lewis complaining again." And yeah, he was complaining. Like there was a lot of complaining during the race, but out of the race, once he calms down, he is back to his kind of balanced, respectful,
rational
self, and that was very obvious between him and Lando, because he was kind of complaining about what Lando had complained about him.
They all do it, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. It's a race. You want any chance to get higher, of course you're going to take it. And yeah, there was just a really nice kind of a really nice bit of discussion between Lando and Lewis, which was lovely to see, especially as Lando is a bit younger. You know, I don't know why, it always makes me feel a bit warm and fuzzy when like the older, well, you get like these legends of the sport,
Yeah.
and it's almost like they're kind of, I don't know, it's like, come under my wing, I'm gonna be nice and give you a bit of confidence. It's just really lovely, and I thought that was just a lovely moment. I believe that was Sky F1.
Oh, you're so soppy.
I can sometimes be.
You're either that or savage.
Or a dick. Yep.
That's basically what I said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Red Bull, they had minor changes to the rear end of the car.
Not that you would notice.
Not that you'd notice, because they were just equally as dominant, weren't they?
Yes.
Although, I mean, did it give, when they had that fight with Leclerc, did it give you that, like, oh, this might be it? Like, this might be it. Has Ferrari actually caught up? No. And I still don't think Red Bull is going to be caught up by the end of the season.
Yeah. Although there were moments where Leclerc's lap times were pretty much the same as Max Verstappen's. So that gave some hope.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there are a number of reasons and variables. But yeah, I mean, they were putting in very similar lap times. And it wasn't, I don't care who wins, really. Like,
You just want it to be a good race.
Yeah, that's the thing. I watch the race. It's entertainment.
Yeah.
For them, it's a sport. For people watching, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
And yes, Verstappen finished first again, but the battles. Yeah. And it wasn't just at the front. It was throughout the whole of the grid. The battles were incredible. Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was a great race. We've talked about this, but I'm just reminiscing once again. Williams, they gave their Albon upgrades to Sargent, and I actually can't remember where Sargent came.
I thought he did
13th.
really well. There was a moment where he was getting quite close to potentially being in the points. He had a really good weekend, I think.
Yes.
So
Hulkenberg, not so much. That Ferrari power unit let him down.
Yes, although just a quick word on Hulkenberg, if I may.
Are you listening?
In the sprint race.
Oh, what a legend!
When
P2, he was holding off Perez.
Yeah,
and I was thinking at this point, yeah, Perez's seat is gone.
yeah, look, this does not look good for Perez. No. But Lando didn't have a very good start. Then there was, because it started Max, then Perez, didn't it?
Yeah.
Then who was third? Was it Sainz?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were having their own little battle. Hulkenberg's like,
just made the most of that opportunity.
Past. And then suddenly he's in P2. I was like, this is
great,
bloody amazing. Yeah. And then he DNF'd in the actual race. So
yeah. Minus 20 points is that in the F1 Fantasy League?
All right.
Yeah, sorry, just rubbing it in.
But yeah, he had a great weekend. But
Haas.
Well, kind of.
Haas generally, they are slowly proving their concept, aren't they?
Haas gives you wings.
It's not.
Oh my God.
But it's Ferrari.
Do you not get that?
No, I don't get that at all.
The pit lane where he flew.
Sorry. I thought you were saying it was a Red Bull copy. I was like, not quite.
No.
Haas give you wings. Oh, that was Magnus.
No, that was Hulkenberg. He flew.
Yeah. He literally flew.
Did you see? I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. You might have to bleep it.
Go on.
When someone on Twitter said something like, "Don't you smash my fuck pit crew" or something.
Oh, fuck pit crew.
It was so funny.
Oh yeah, no, that was crazy. I mean, I think those cars aren't fragile, are they? But I was kind of surprised it got away with like no damage, just a little tiny bit.
And I mean, luckily no one was hurt as well.
That is the most important.
What
thing.
is going on? But anyway, we digress again.
We digress.
But
upgrades. So more upgrades are coming for the British Grand Prix, which is in a week. It's in a week. It's another race week, everybody. Oh, I could get used to this.
Yeah.
We've got 3 races this month, isn't it? Was it 4?
No, it's 4.
It's 4. Every weekend we've got something going on, and that includes one weekend, which is at the Festival of Speed. So if you do the maths, there you go. You work out how many races we've got.
It's 4, but 5 including Austria. That's just happened.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, it's just working out in my head.
Of course. So it's very exciting. But the British Grand Prix, that is looking to be very exciting.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So, we've got Mercedes upgrades.
Yeah.
And according to Toto Wolff, the tall Mercedes team principal, he says we're bringing a larger one to Silverstone. He's talking upgrades, not like people. Then we should have another one before shutdown. I assume he's talking about the holiday, the summer holiday. It's just that the learnings have accelerated a lot since we changed some of the conceptual architecture. There should be decent steps coming in the next 4 races, which is really, really exciting. So basically all we want is a number of teams, doesn't matter who those teams are, we want a number of teams up at the front to give Max a little bit of something to think about.
And Perez.
And Perez. Sorry, I shouldn't be so one-sided. And Perez, because Perez is, as he's shown this gone weekend, he is a very, very talented driver. He's finally got his mojo back. But yeah, we want Max to sweat a little bit. At the moment, he's finding it boring.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll enjoy that too.
He will, definitely. Yeah, because he wants to race. He was like, look, I don't want to...
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
That's okay. We can...
just use these.
We can just use these. Yeah. No space on the memory card. Well, that's fine. Yeah. Where were we? Max wants to sweat. He is there to...
Sweat.
Kiki.
Because I'm a high-performance athlete.
I love Danny Rick. Oh, I miss him. Yeah, he wants to have... Well, he wants to race. That's why he's there. And he said he had this amazing comment after the race. He was like, I saw the back of F1 cars. Or something like that. I can't remember what he said exactly, but he was like, I saw the back of F1 cars. It was really exciting. I was watching them duel. So, yeah, really good. Lewis Hamilton for Mercedes has admitted that there are sacrifices that they are having this season to allow them some sort of performance gain next season to hopefully give them a chance at the championship. Great. We'll look forward to it. But what are we really looking forward to?
I feel like this is a real, like you've got to be a real fan to care about this sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
I think so.
I suppose so.
But we've potentially got 2 new liveries coming for the British Grand Prix.
It's always fun, isn't it? Always fun.
So the first one is a potential. I mean, by the time this goes out, we might know. They're meant to be announcing something today, but McLaren has teased a chrome livery.
Oh.
If it's not that, the whole F1 community is just going to be like...
I hope it's not just like a chrome helmet.
Oh.
Because I can't remember who it was, but I remember when someone did that. One of the teams, they like teased this amazing livery. Or like when they, Williams last year in Austin, I think, they teased, they had this incredible livery, this American flag. And it was on a show car. They didn't use it in the race.
Yeah.
So what is the point?
Yeah, what'll come down.
Yeah. So,
so they have teased it. They've changed their icon on Twitter to be Chrome. They keep saying that something about Google Chrome is happening. Obviously, that's one of their main sponsors.
I hope it's not the Google Chrome colours.
No. Well, because they've changed it. If that's it, I quit.
No, I think it will be Chrome because they have changed the logo on Twitter and it's literally silver Chrome. That's just so nostalgic for me.
So nostalgic.
And I mean, you know how much I hate that papaya orange.
I know. I don't really know why you've got such a thing against it, but it's okay.
Yeah. No, let me just make this straight. I don't hate McLaren.
No, it's the livery that you don't like.
Yeah, it's literally just the colour. I just hate the colour. I mean,
who hates a colour?
Me. And like it's recognisable, yes.
Yeah.
But so is chrome silver.
Please
do it.
It would look so good.
Yeah.
So crossing everything for that.
Literally crossing everything.
Then the other new livery is Williams.
So
good. If the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix had not been cancelled,
the
British Grand Prix would have been their 800th race.
Yeah.
Which is huge. It is now going to be Hungary that happens in, but they're celebrating at both events.
Well,
obviously, it's a British...
Yeah, exactly. It's a British
team. And on their press release, They've said the striking Silverstone design will pay homage to the team's British heritage and to its founder, the late Sir Frank Williams. So they haven't released what the livery is going to be yet. I'm hoping it's significantly different.
What would it be?
But I'm excited. I mean, maybe imagine if they did. What was their very first livery?
Don't know.
I'm going to look at that.
Have a look. But yeah, that is. I'd love to see that. It's like getting a new car, isn't it? I think that's why so many car people want to wrap their cars, because as soon as you change the color, it's like, oh, new car.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, I am wrapping my car, which is why I brought it up. Sorry.
There we go.
I'm going a satin. I think actually it's 3M, and they call it matte metallic, but it looks more like a satin, and it's going to be a satin racing green, because Aston Martin. I like the way Aston Martins look. It's a 350Z, by the way, with a few mods. Go on. What does it look like?
I don't know which was the very first, but there's like a golden blue, which is like there's also a red, white, and blue, which could tie in with the whole British Grand Prix.
That'd be nice.
Bit of gold in there.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited.
Just something different. The thing is, I actually really like the Williams livery.
I really like it. That's a lovely colour.
Yeah, it is. I think it's very sophisticated, and I think the Williams team actually. I'm a huge fan of them. I'm a huge fan of the Williams team.
Big things are coming.
Big things are coming, thanks to Alex Albon and James Vowles.
Yeah.
And Logan Sargent.
And golf.
But Alex Albon. And golf, yeah. lots more money. Ferrari. Getting back to the upgrades.
Yeah.
Ferrari is a it is a front limited car, isn't it? Ferrari is a front limited car. Silverstone is a front limited track. So, you wonder how good Ferrari are going to be, but they found out after last weekend that they can actually lower their car still, because they did analysis on the underfloor and the board, and they realised that actually there was minimal wear, and they did have a bit more wiggle room. So we might see that Ferrari lower their car and are able to get a bit more ground effect, a bit more downforce. Hopefully that will pay off in Silverstone. The cars that I'm looking out for will be Ferrari, will be Aston Martin, will be Red Bull, obviously.
Mercedes with the upgrades.
Mercedes will... Can you imagine if this is Hamilton's first win of the season?
Don't.
Or
I
George
love
Russell.
something that's like nostalgic.
Yeah, exactly. And through goes Hamilton. Oh, great bit. God, such a good part. It didn't last very long, but great moment.
That was great though.
But yeah, or Russell, just a British driver
Lando,
winning in Britain.
Alex
Lando
Albon.
totally deserves it.
Yeah.
Alex, he deserves it, but he won't get it. Well, I mean, let's be realistic.
Say it as it is. Okay.
Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
Haas, do we think they're going to be good? I've written down that I did think they're going to be good, but I'm actually not so sure.
I think it will suit them, but I think that they'll kind of be drowned out by other cars that will also suit more.
Yeah, they're running out of money, aren't they?
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be a really exciting race next weekend. So glad that we have a lot of racing. Of course, it's the racing before the summer holidays. I don't know what we're going to talk about in the summer holidays, but we'll talk about something. Something exciting.
I'm sorry. McLaren have further teased.
Oh, go on. Breaking news.
They've
Exclusive.
done cool then, still cool now. Let me get your reaction. You ready?
Okay.
Hang on. I need you to see my screen.
Go on. Oh, it's gonna be silver and red. Please be silver and red. Oh, so excited! It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Oh,
they're such a tease.
They are a tease.
Just like confirm it already.
Yeah, such a tease.
Anyway, I got too excited. I needed to.
It's gonna be really exciting. Oh, McLaren. Oh, so good, so good. But It wasn't all good news over the weekend.
No.
So we don't want to talk about this for too long. But Delano Van Hoff was killed on the Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
He was 18 years old.
Yeah.
It was an F1 feeder series, the Formula Regional European Championship at Spa. Really incredibly sad. And yeah, 18 years old. I just can't get over the fact that he was 18 years old.
No, it's heartbreaking.
We're 28, and I feel like I'm only just beginning. And yeah, so our condolences obviously go out to his family and friends, his team, the people he worked with. It's really sad, and we saw a minute's silence during the F1, a minute's silence on Saturday as well. And the world of F1 has come out and paid tribute to the young Dutch driver. Yeah, it was an incident. Eau Rouge and it's around that part of the track. Eau Rouge is the bit that goes down. What's the bit that goes up? Anyway, it was around that area of the track. Quite a dangerous area, but actually, people are asking for the track to be changed. And yes, I'm sure changes can be made to further improve the safety. But I just don't think the race should have gone ahead anyway.
No, the weather conditions were dreadful.
The conditions were so bad. So, just awful to see. And it makes you think, it makes you really appreciate, actually, what these races go through, regardless of the sport, regardless of what form of motorsport it is. And it makes you think twice about taking everything for granted. Again, our condolences. But yeah, sorry to stop the podcast on a kind of, on a sour note, on a sad note. But it's important to say, and it's important to learn from things like this when it happens. Both, from a sports point of view and from a fan's point of view. Because like I said, we need to make sure that we're not taking this for granted. And, we complain about F1 being, at the moment, maybe boring with Verstappen winning all the time, but there's still a level of danger. Regardless of how safe it is right now, there's still a level of danger. And we should just appreciate all the drivers for going out there for our entertainment.
Absolutely.
And I know they're paid a load of money and all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't matter. There is a chance that anyone could get hurt or worse each time they race. So appreciation is key. But yeah, that's just 2 minutes out of the podcast for that. But thank you so much for watching. You can find the Driven Mad podcast on all your favorite podcast providers.
What are they?
iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Player FM, and more.
Bless you.
Thank you. Also on YouTube. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Notification bell. Like, comment. We want to know what you think of the Austrian Grand Prix. Was the FIA in the wrong? Do they have the right to change the race results after it finished? And if they do, what about Abu Dhabi? No, shouldn't ask that question. But seriously though, what about Abu Dhabi? Like, that went against the rules, didn't it? Like, don't know. Anyway, not my place to say.
I'm not getting into that now.
Thank you so much for watching. I've been Alex Harrington at AlexDoesF1 on Twitter and Instagram, and you've been
Lydia Me.
At
Lydia Me F1 on Instagram and Twitter.
There we go.
I hate this part.
We're getting used to it. Self-plugging. Thank you again for watching, and see you in the next podcast.
See ya.
Bye.